It's a delight to have your company tonight. Our sign language interpreter is William Silla. Our top story, the Kenya Airline Pilots Association and Kenya Airways top management have called off the planned strike. This follows intense negotiations over the weekend. The pilots had issued a strike notice intended to have taken effect from tomorrow.
These are relief tonight for hundreds of passengers after the Kenya Airline Pilots Association, CALPA, and Kenya Airways Board of Directors reached a truce to call off an impending strike. A joint meeting between union officials and Kenya Airways top managers, chaired by Labour Cabinet Secretary Phyllis Kendie, broke the deadlock after several hours of intense negotiations. The meeting held behind closed doors ended at about 4 p.m., paving way for a final meeting at State House, Nairobi. Speaking to KTN News, Transport Principal Secretary Irungu Nyakera noted that the government was keen to ensure KQ becomes profitable.
In terms of the legality, actually the position of the court is that it will be an illegal strike. In terms of the mandate, it's very clear in terms of what a union is able to actually deal with, which is matters of CBA. With between its membership and its employer. Of course, matters of the one that they are calling on right now are matters that are actually shareholder and board deliberations.
There was no comment over demands by the pilots union for the resignation of the airline's chief executive officer, Mbuvi Gonze.
The KQ and government and the other shareholder, KLM, we've actually been engaging on this for a very long time. So there are no decisions that are going to be as a result of the notices, because we've been actually at it for a very long time. So what we are looking at is, at the end of the day, looking at the issues that KQ has suffered and looking at where we want KQ to go in both the short term as well as the medium term, and I believe the decisions that have been made by the board and shareholders are decisions that are very well aligned to the interests of all the other stakeholders.
So I say, for example, reducing the profitability gap. In this period, we have closed quite a number of deals. For example, reducing our fleet costs. Yeah. We've sold aircrafts, we have subleased others, and combined, those will be saving us from next month $8 million a month, 800 million shillings a month in terms of fleet costs.
Newly elected board chairman Michael Joseph, who is the former CEO at Safaricom, said in a statement that the board could not make any decisions over Mbuvi's dismissal, as the airline is a listed company at the Nairobi Securities Exchange and due process has to be followed. And as pressure continues to mount for the sacking of KQ CEO Mbuvi Gonze, who the union officials have accused of running down the airline, the national carrier is yet to recover from major cancellations over the weekend.
Currently, we've seen losses from the cancellations. As you say, indicate we had about 5 cancellations yesterday, but also be clearly that these cancellations were not on the back of pilot strike. It was actually from the crew who just did not show up to work, and this, as we've also mentioned before, the crew are not KQ staff, but rather with no-source service. And we've been able to manage that. As you've seen, the whole of today, we've not had any issues with crewing, and also the plan for tomorrow in terms of crew, we also 100%.
At least 5 flights were cancelled after subcontracted staff went on a go-slow. With reduced turbulence at the airline, observers will be keenly watching developments at Kenya Airways, which is the 3rd largest airline in sub-Saharan Africa, flying to over 50 destinations in the world. Abiyagina, KTN News.
All right, so let's remind you our big question for which we're engaging with you tonight. Based on that story you just watched, we're asking you, will the resignation of the Kenya Airways CEO and chairman rescue the troubled national carrier? What do you think? Let us know. Tweet us at KTN News, at KTN Kenya. You can tweet me directly at Sophia Wanuna, or you can send in a message 22155. Now, the National Assembly is expected to tomorrow decide on the nomination of Justice David Maraga as the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court. And as Chris Tyro now reports, the established timelines demand that countries should have a new Chief Justice by Wednesday.
Members of the National Assembly will resume their sittings Tuesday afternoon. Top on the agenda will be to debate and decide on the nomination of Justice David Maraga as the country's second Chief Justice and a new constitutional dispensation. Sources within the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee that vetted Justice Maraga last week intimated to KTN News that despite the 3 petitions filed by different individuals opposing the nomination of Justice Maraga, majority of the members went ahead and gave the nomination a clean bill of health. Emmanuel Korir accused Maraga of failing to uphold the constitution in his ruling in a case regarding the killing of the then Ainamoi MP, David Too, in January 2008. The parliamentary aspirant says that while serving at the Nakuru High Court, Maraga reduced the murder charge to manslaughter, leading to a 10-year imprisonment.
My decision is not final. The state filed a notice of appeal. So there is, as it were, a pending appeal.
In another petition, Frederick Onyancha opposed the nomination of Maraga on the basis that he was responsible for the gross backlog of cases in Eldoret.
As judges, you have got to rise. You cannot decide cases on emotion. You have got to decide cases on the evidence and the law.
With Tuesday being the last day as per the timelines to debate his nomination, the committee will first table their report and later give members time to go through their report before starting another session in the evening to debate his nomination. If approved, Maraga will be sworn into office by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Wednesday. His first duty as the Chief Justice will be to swear in the IEBC selection panel that will shortlist the new IEBC commissioners. The 9-member selection panel consists of 5 members from religious organizations, 2 from the ruling Jubilee Coalition, and 2 from the opposition CORD. Meanwhile, the IEBC Secretariat is expected to appear before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee Tuesday morning with their proposals for amendments to the Elections Act. According to the Secretariat, they will be forced to change the election timelines as the Act had already envisaged that by the 30th of last month, the country would have had new commissioners in office. Chris Tairo, KTN News.
In the wake of the ongoing drought in parts of Ganze and Magarini, there are some farmers who are defying the odds. As our reporter Francis Otomwa found out, the farmers have adopted irrigation methods and are now putting some good use to the otherwise very idle land.
The hunger situation in parts of Ganze and Magarini constituencies continues to exhibit a gruesome and appalling state of affairs. Children going hungry, mothers having to walk long distances in search of food and water, images that have left authorities yet again exposed. But even as they continue groping in the dark, this irrigation farm may perhaps provide insights into what has been an age-long headache. Gandini irrigation scheme is tucked deep in Magarini.
Wakati huu tuna mimea kama 4 ambayo tunaikuza kwa wingi, ikiwa ni kuanza na mahindi, tomato, sukuma na brinjals.
The project is a brainchild of the Kenya Red Cross Society, now aided by the Kilifi government officials, initiated 5 years ago. This when it became irrational to keep them on food aid. Today, when the rest of the affected areas cry foul, they have food in bounty, enough to even trade within their neighborhood.
Sasa wakafikiria kama kunaweza kupatikana njia nyingine ambayo wataacha kule kuleta kile chakula, kwa sababu hata wakituletea kanta ngapi tena hazitutoshi.
Sasa kuna mabadiliko makubwa sana, kwa sababu sasa watu wanajisimamia, wanafanya hata mabiashara yameanza kuona yanaendelea vizuri.
Some residents look back several years ago. They only wish the leadership had harbored a serious resolve to end their plight. Take the case of Ganze. Between 1988 to 1997, the then powerful Noah Katanangala was the member of parliament, a man who was described as being close to power, holding top cabinet portfolios. Magarini had Jonathan Katananzai, later Amason Jeffa Kingi, the current governor of Kilifi. Many agree that the former leaders had a golden chance to change fortunes, but these escaped them.
Mimi ninaamini kwamba huu mradi unaweza badilisha hayo maisha, kwa sababu sisi wa hapa ambao tunalima hapa, wakati haujaanzishwa huu mradi ilikuwa ni shida kubwa sana. Lakini saa hii utakuta hata wale ambao hawana mashamba kule juu na hali hii inaendelea wanategemea hapa. Na ukiboreshwa zaidi huu mradi, hata hao wa huko mbali watapata chakula kutoka hapa.
In most parts of Kilifi, opportunities exist in agriculture, particularly dairy and crop farming, thanks to fertile soils and a good weather pattern. Ganze and Magarini may be unique in their own right, but experts say the adoption of the right farming practices, especially irrigation, could provide the magic stroke.
As the Chief Officer for Agriculture, come next year, I want to convince management, more so the County Assembly, in terms of ring fencing money, particularly for smallholder irrigation. If the 350 million shillings I get for development, I can be able to use 200 million just for irrigation. I will be able to showcase to the Assembly and more so to management that yes, with the little resources, I can be able to do something.
It might seem rather late, but the involvement of the county government of Kilifi in the new way of life may just change fortunes.
When these farmers teamed up to initiate this project, some dismissed them for an arid zone. But a couple of years later, the Gandini irrigation scheme has stood out and is now a testament of what best farming practices can achieve. Francis Otomwa, KTN News, Magarini.
In a prevailing dry spell in Kitui County, many living in remote areas of Kitui South and Kitui East believe life in the town is much better and bearable than in their areas. Although Kitui Town has not been classified as a vulnerable region, those living in the town say they are having it rough as there is no water, as Dorcas Wangira now tells us.
There are places where people go to sleep, and when they wake up, they face life with very little or no ambition. Majengo Estate in Kitui Township is one of them. It's a cosmopolitan settlement. There are so many stark symbols of unemployment. Here, many push not just for what they want, but what they need: water. The residents tell us the failing rains have continued to parch this land. A lot of time is spent at these water points. A 20-litre jerrycan goes for 2 to 3 shillings. Those who wish to have their water carried to their homes must part with 30 shillings for delivery. This particular water point, operated by Najma Kalundu, is supposed to be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. At high noon, the water stopped flowing. Many left their containers in line, waiting. Rehema Hassan manages a large household. Her taps have run dry. It's been like this for nearly 2 months. The water bills come from the Kitui Water and Services Company, but she wonders for what exactly.
Hawajajibika kitu chochote, maanake sisi wenyewe ndo tunajibaia maji. Mboga zimepanda, matunda, na matunda mengi sana imepotea, maanake bei imepanda.
63-year-old Mohammed Hashim says it hasn't always been like this. Where water flowed, it can flow again with proper management and planning.
Tuna boreholes hapa, mara tuomba mashini imevunjika, mara hivi. Tunaendelea kupata tabu ya maji kwa muda wa mwaka karibu na nusu sasa.
Kalundu Dam is what many here call the Dam of Death. The people who live nearby tell us the water is so close, yet using it is a last resort.
Tuyaona, hata mkienda kwa barabara mtaona kuna demo hapo, lakini maji hatusaidii na chochote. Hayajatiwa pipe, hayajakushughulikiwa. Siku moja ikikuwa uwezo kuafford kununua mitungi 3 ambao ni 90 shillings, na kipato hapa ni hali ya chini sana.
In a town, the expectations are higher. The town is not cited as a vulnerable area in this dry spell, not as much as the pockets of Kitui South and Kitui East, and can easily be overlooked. It's not that there is no water in Kitui, it's just that it's not enough for everyone.
The rain was just so depressed that even the regeneration of pastures was below average. And as we speak now, there's a lot of stress regarding that. And this situation has also been compounded by influx of animals from the neighboring Tana River County, which also experienced similar weather characteristics during the last rains. So putting in preparedness measures. We indeed, and that is in the pipeline, is supposed to start, but with the rain season is going to delay for a while. We are putting a plan to put up a mega dam which will be able to supplement the available water sources.
In the village, many aspire to claw out a more tolerable life in the town.
Kufananisha mtoto wa huku kwetu na huko town, unaangalia wakati wa kukava syllabus, sio pamoja.
Hata mtu akifa akiwa na miaka 60, ni ukweli kusema kuwa miaka yake 30 aliharibu katika mito ya aina hii akitafuta maji.
Ice spell has been cast above this horizon in the hamlet and in the town. In the seesaw of scale, the village may weigh down the town. All the same, what affects even one person affects us all. Dorcas Wangira, KTN News, Kitui County.
Some good news now, and celebrations marked the arrival of newly crowned winners of the CNN Multi-Choice African Journalist of the Year 2016 award. KTN News Special Projects Editor Asha Mwilu and senior cameraman Rashid Idi arrived back home last evening. Family and friends braved the cold at the JKIA to congratulate the duo who have achieved a key milestone in their careers. Thereafter, colleagues here at the Standard Group received the two winners with pomp and color at the Mombasa Road headquarters. The two won the award for the investigative documentary Terror Crossing, which focused on the security lapses at the Kenya-Somali border following the heightened attack of the Al-Shabaab in the country.
Just shows how as Kenyans we are a family and we are always rooting for one another, and I think this is just a celebration for Kenyan journalism, that we are holding who we need to hold accountable. We are telling our Kenyan stories, and the continent is seeing that, you know what, something is happening back in Kenya and we must be really, really proud of ourselves. So this is for all of us.
I'm so grateful for this award. Just want to say thank you to Kenyan people. This shows how united we are. Asanteni sana. Kila mtu, wow. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Nimefurahi sana. Nimereceviwa hapa na family na friends, watu wengi sana.
The competition was very, very tight, and I'm very proud that my own colleagues made it through and were the best category in news impact, and also the best category in terms of the overall winners. It is very difficult for me as a judge because I am not allowed to vote for colleagues whose entries enter an award. So when it came to Asha Mwilu's part and Rashid Idi's part, I had to recuse myself to sit outside the room as my fellow judges voted, and only return when they had agreed that this is the best.
I'm feeling proud of these three people here. Umetufanya tuwe proud sana kwa nchi yetu, na mambo yale wanafanya tunawaombea Mwenyezi Mungu awajalie waweze kutuambia story zote zile zinatendeka tuweze kufahamu.
All right, an amazing night it was for them, even getting back today to a surprise cake and more dancing here at the Standard Group. Let's meet the winners. Good to see you. Congratulations. You guys are the dopest, as would say it in the streets of KTN.
Yeah, we're really humbled. Yeah? Really, really humbled by
Good to
it.
see you both. I'm sure you've been asked this many times, but for those who've not heard, that moment, are you nervous when they say, and the winner of this category is, were you nervous? How did that moment feel like?
Yeah, we were completely nervous, but the funniest thing, when they were about to announce the overall winner, they had only one award. Okay. So Rashid and I were like, you know what, we don't have it. So we sat back, like, let's now wait for the winner. And then they called us, so we were really taken aback.
You were taken aback. Rashid, how was it for you?
Oh, Sophia, I can't even explain it.
Yeah?
Yasha said it.
it came with only 1 award. So I was telling Asha, come on, this is not ours.
Yeah.
This is maybe for South Africa. A South African guy
yeah.
who showed that, is it xenophobia or something?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
peak.
There were really good other,
Yes.
pieces
Really,
that were
really brilliant.
submitted.
Yes.
And just to put it into perspective, you managed to beat 1,637 other entries that were submitted from 38 countries. So this is serious stuff.
Wow.
The best of the best, But I want to put this to you so we get also an understanding. News Impact Award is the category and the overall award. So what do these categories mean?
Well, when you're entering for the CNN award, there are different categories, and then of course you pick the best story of your year, and you enter into the category that you think will fit. So for us, we thought Terra Crossing had an impact. We thought a lot of Kenyans discussed it online. The next day it was all over the radio, and we did see a bit of shuffling of county commissioners in Northeastern. So that's where we entered. That's why we chose that. So there are many categories, and what happens is that the judges look at all the stories that have been entered, read your motivational paragraph, and then they choose 2 nominees in each category. All the finalists go wherever it is. This time it was in South Africa. And then out of the 2 nominees in each category, there's 1 winner. So out of all the winners in all these categories, there's one, the person they say is the ultimate winner. They look at different things. Okay. So I guess for us, we were really happy, really humbled that Terra Crossing did well. And it was an opportunity for us to also reignite debate onto, the stories that was most passionate about, why we did it, and what we would want to see going forward.
And Rashid, for you, you're used to being behind the camera. Now you're in front of the cameras. You've been asked questions. Is this a little bit strange and weird for you?
It was strange, Sophia. It was really strange. I went in front of the cameras.
How do you like it on this side of the camera? Do you want to stay on this side?
I'm telling you, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's really tough. It's a tough stuff.
Yeah?
Although I was so happy. When I was speaking, I was looking at Asha. She's really motivator. Yeah. And she really did a very wonderful thing, Asha. Thank you. Because she's the one who entered. She didn't even tell me she was entering this award.
Wow. So when did you find out?
I found out from the CNN people. They called me.
Really?
It was a surround thing. Asha, thank you so much.
No, it was teamwork. Do you know when we were in Mandera, the last 2 days, I was really, really ill. We hadn't finished the story, and I told Rashid, I'm so unwell. And he said, you know what, it's fine. I'm going to take charge. And he took charge. A lot of the pictures you saw, I had to sit in the car as Rashid took some of them. So I really celebrate him. It's a lot about teamwork.
Finally, let me ask you before we go very briefly, what's next? Because they say for a journalist, you're as good as your last story. What next?
I think for us, we're just motivated to tell more stories. I'm really lucky now to be a part of the features desk on KTN permanently, and it's a team of fantastic reporters, young, energetic, and people who are really passionate about social justice, which is what KTN is all about. We're really big on investigative stories, on going to the ground. So that's what Kenyans should expect. Just more stories.
Your message to those aspiring to be where you are today?
It takes time. Be patient and be motivated. Always think fast before you push that record button, because it matters a lot. Yes.
And one more thing, it's not about this. It's not about the award. It's just about the story.
You don't become a journalist or whatever.
No. It's about the story.
It's about the story.
We're so proud of you, and you can hear more from them on Wednesday on JKL. They'll be there, so catch them on JKL for more details. You are watching Monday Night News. To remind you quickly, our big cue before we go to break, we're asking you, do you think the resignation of the KQ chair, as well as that of the chairman, CEO and chairman, I beg your pardon, will bring better tidings and turn around the troubled national carrier? Do you think that will rescue KQ? 22155 is our SMS number. Tweet us also, KTN News, or at Sophia Wanuna. We'll be back with business news as well as more sports. The factors that hinder gold mining in Ikolomani. Let us now talk business. And works on the second phase of the standard gauge railway project are set to kick off midweek, even as the government works around the clock to actualize the multi-billion shillings project. According to Transport Principal Secretary Irungu Nyekera, the 150 billion shillings line will connect Nairobi and Naivasha. The SGR project is billed as a game changer that is set to cut cost of doing business in the region and make Kenya a more competitive destination.
Way, which is now from Nairobi to Naivasha, or more so what we call as Duka Moja, no, because the route is not necessarily going through Naivasha. The route is 120 kilometers. Will take us about 3.5 years to complete at a cost of 150 billion shillings.
Mm-hmm. So has installed 155 turbines out of 365 turbines in the past 6 months. The power project is expected to complete the installation process by June 2017, and once completed, it will be the largest wind farm in Africa. The installation site in Loyangalani is 1,200 kilometers from the port of Mombasa, and the assembly of the turbines began in March 2016 after the civil works of the foundations of the first batch of turbines had been completed. Targets to inject the first 90 megawatts of wind power into the national grid by the second quarter of 2017. For many years, nomads, pastoralists and others who depend on livestock for livelihoods have been at the mercy of middlemen who buy their livestock for a song. In Marsabit County, the county government has created a modern market to enable full price discovery and ensure that farmers reap the full benefits of their products. Philip Keitani was there and now reports.
With livestock farming being the mainstay of Marsabit economy, the county government of Marsabit has been working on ways of improving the sector as well as the livelihood of its population that largely depend on the sector as a source of income and wealth.
If you go to a place called Mojo, which is about 60 kilometers from Addis Ababa, 50% of the livestock slaughtered in the Mojo slaughterhouse, abattoir, and that goes to the Middle East immediately, are actually from Marsabit County.
With the help of USAID and Feed the Future initiative, Marsabit County embarked on the construction of a modern livestock market that are strategically situated around the county, like this one at Merile. With ready access to a good transport network to improve access to both local and international markets, the market is expected not just to catalyze the sale of livestock, but also engage value addition so as to retain more of the value locally through the production of various livestock products.
Nakuja hapa Merile kununua mbuzi kwa sababu hakuna mbuzi zinapatikana huko Meru. Zinapatikana huko lakini sio mingi kama hapa.
Though serving various towns including Nairobi and Mombasa, markets such as these are mere collection centers for livestock that have been aggregated at other feeder markets across the county like Ilauti, Kor and Laisamis.
Tangu ikuje pande hii tumekuwa na paenda sana. Naweza kusangamia na uingia kwa nyumba yako tu dakika hiyo bila kukata ndururu isipokuwa ses.
The market at Merile is open just once every week. On Tuesday, on market day, the market receives and sells about 3,000 sheep and goats, 200 cows and 100 camels per market day.
We have been going on with vaccinations since May this year. We started from Moyale, coming this way. Right now we are in Logologo and Saku sub-county. And we are doing this one as a county program.
The livestock market is expected therefore to start operating at least twice a week and gradually increase the frequency of the market days.
And we are already serving markets. I mean, we are already serving the people of Siolo, we are serving the people of Samburu County, Meru and even beyond. And we are taking advantage of the main highway. Already the movements of people, traders to this market are quite impressive. and growing.
In the near future, the market data collection will be digitized in order to ease sharing of market information by the county government. Once the digitization system is fully operational, it is expected that the market will be able to generate about 300 million shillings in revenue annually. With an estimated 7 million shillings exchanging hands every Tuesday at the Merili livestock market, it is a clear indication that livestock farming can help improve lives of pastoral communities in the country. Philip Keitan for the Next Frontier.
Welcome back. Let's now talk sports. And Impala's Innocent Simiyu has been appointed as Kenya's 7th coach to replace Benjamin Ayimba. His appointment was confirmed today by the Rugby Union chairman, Richard Omwela. The former Kenya 7th captain beat a number of coaches who had applied for the job. Kevin Wambua has also been named as the Kenya women's 7th head coach.
After weeks of confusion surrounding the naming of the national sevens team head coach, the Kenya Rugby Union on Monday morning announced former Shujaa captain and Impala Saracen star Innocent Namko Simiyu as the head tactician of the sevens team. The 33-year-old, who holds a level 2 coaching certificate, was selected from a list of 14 other applicants who wanted to guide the team. He takes over from Benjamin Ayimba on a 2-year contract. Ayimba guided Kenya to a cup win in Singapore in the 2015-2016 season, where Kenya finished 7th on the log.
Our head coach for this season is going to be Innocent Simiyu. That, I'm sure, is the name that all of you have been waiting for. Finally, it's now out from us.
Simiyu played 121 matches for Kenya, bagging 321 points for Shujaa. He last featured for the 15th team in August this year in a match against Hong Kong. He will be expected to name his assistant soon.
If we were going international, we would have had to select an assistant coach, but since we have decided to go local, we've decided that he will have a leeway to suggest some names that people that he wants to work with, and then subject to approval, the board will then let him go ahead with that.
The union also cleared the air concerning reports that former New Zealand coach Gordon Tidjens was to be named coach.
We tried to get Tidjens, but his signature was being sought by many other countries, and that's why the delay was there. But having looked at the shortlists, Innocent came out very clearly.
The technical bench will include Eric Ongweno, who comes in as the team manager. Ian Gibbons takes over as the strength and conditioning coach, as Lamek Bogonko retains his slot as the team physio. Kevin Wambua, who has been acting as the interim head coach of Lionesses, was confirmed as the ladies' head coach, with Camilo Noyoyo taking over as the team manager's docket. Samuel Njogu is the new strength and conditioning coach, while Ben Mahinda stays on as the team physio. With the air of uncertainty surrounding the selection of the head coach now cleared, Innocent Simiyu has less than 45 days to ensure that he selects the team that will take part in the first leg of the series in Dubai. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.